Come on. Live.
Is it working? Hello?
Yes.
Can the people out there hear us on the airwaves?
The people who don't listen to us.
Okay. Well, Tony, how have you been? Oh, by the way, I'm Brendan. This is Tony. And what's the name of our podcast, Tony?
Double Act.
Oh, look at you. And we have a fancy new logo that only kind of makes it look like we're a true crime podcast. But you know what? We're on trend. True crime podcasts are big right now. And actually, I just turned to look at our special guest today. So would you like to introduce yourself, special guest?
No, you have to introduce me. What?
Oh, the shade of it all.
Our special guest is Jimmy.
Obviously.
I've known him for his entire life, being we were siblings.
A pleasure to be your sibling, Brendan.
Stop moving away from the microphone, fucking weirdo. Jesus.
I'm just fucking moving. Let me live, you cunt.
Okay, this is going to be off to a great start already. Tony, how's it going over there, man, in the great city of Worcestershire?
Worcestershire. It's going spectacularly. It was 40 degrees yesterday.
That is fucking terrible.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
It was like 60 here, and I was actually shivering. I was over it.
Yeah, I was about to die. I was wearing 2 sweaters and a flannel.
Well, I guess that's what you see. My theory with living in the Northeast, you trade off having all of the wilderness wanting to kill you to just the weather wants to kill you. You know, so you could live in Southern California, but you got tarantulas and rattlesnakes. Even if you have 70 degrees,
fair.
Yeah.
You also have people who live in California who are some of my least favorite people.
Oh, really?
Well, Tony's partly from California. He was born there.
Well, half of my family is from California.
I don't think I know anyone.
I know what I hate.
In California.
I know I hate people who spend summers in California and then come back like they're changed. I hate that. Can we just hate on that for a second, Jimmy? Do you hate that too?
I've never experienced that, but it's the same thing about when people study abroad and then they come home and for the next 6 years, all they talk about is this life-changing experience they had abroad.
It's like, Sarah, we get it. You were in Leeds.
Yeah.
Stop acting like you were in London. Oh my God, you're so cultured now. You're right. You're in Europe. Great.
Or like when someone comes back from rehab.
Yeah, right? Fucking buzzkills. Jesus.
Like, who do you think you are?
Yes. Oh my God. Anyway, guys. Okay, so I have both of you here. And I want to tell you about this world I've been dipping my toe into a little bit. And I've been learning a bit about it. I don't know if you guys know anything about it. It's called drag. Are you guys familiar with drag?
Yes, you asshole.
Are you?
Yes.
Tell me what you guys think drag is.
Oh, I can't. You can't get me started on that.
All right, we're getting started. Go for it. Go for it. Oh my God. Because I'm a new inductee into the wonderful world that is RuPaul's Drag Race. Through both of you.
Inductee. What?
I feel like you're inducting a viewer. No, I feel like RuPaul's Drag Race is more than that. Because someone finds out you watch it, and then there's like, holy shit, this is a 4-hour conversation I wasn't ready for.
Oh yes.
Well, you've watched approximately
3 episodes.
No. An episode and a half.
I watched one without you.
Did you? Which one?
I don't know. I picked All Stars too on.
That's a good season.
Okay, so we watched the first one together.
Yes.
And then, so did you watch the second episode?
No, I really went doop. I really wanted the trash monster to be off it, so I just kind of kept.
Do not refer to Adore Delano that way.
That is heinous, Brendan.
How do you know that's who I was talking about?
Because she is a trash queen.
Monster.
But she's not a monster. You are a
beautiful
monster, Brendan. You gutted piece of shit.
Okay, so maybe I should start this conversation off a different way.
Precisely.
Okay, Tony, who's your favorite drag queen?
Okay. The thing is, I love that we're talking about Drag Race. I think it's a great show. I think it's done interesting things to the world of drag at large. Mm-hmm. So to answer that question, I actually have a favorite queen, a couple from the show. Like I love Katya. I love Trixie Mattel, and all that. But whenever I get into conversations about drag, I always kind of have to pay homage to the girls who are actually like local queens. So there's a fine lady in Providence, Rhode Island, and her name is Pulp. And she is a beautiful bearded queen who puts on an amazing show. And her makeup is always on it, costumes always on it, music numbers always on it, and she works fucking hard. So I actually have to say that my favorite queen is not a racer. She's actually a local queen in Providence. So
Okay, so shout out to, you said her name was Pulp.
Pulp.
Shout out to, maybe we can get her on the show. Maybe we try real hard.
Probably not, but that's fine.
We're gonna work on it. We have connections. For the people who don't listen to us, Jimmy, who's your favorite queen? He just put his phone down.
No,
this is a big thing.
It's not a big thing. I just realized I was staring at my phone, and that was kind of rude.
It fucking was. Thank you. I was gonna pull you off air.
All right, bye. I'm out.
I'm joking. Come on.
Don't be shady.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize to Jimmy for being shady.
Thank you.
Well, let's hear it now. Who is it?
I have a favorite drag queen off of Drag Race.
I don't need it to be on Drag Race. Favorite drag queen.
No, there was more to that thought.
Okay, sorry.
But we do have to respect our local queens, and the queens I saw in Philly, one of my favorites was always Martha Graham Cracker.
Yes.
Martha Graham Cracker.
Martha Graham Cracker.
I love that name.
My favorite Drag Race queens are Katya, Trixie Mattel, and Jinx Monsoon.
Jinx is good.
I live for Jinx. She just cracks me up.
She's fucking tapped.
Also, she did Little Edie in the Snatch Game from Grey Gardens, and that's like literally all I ever needed.
Same.
I was done.
Awesome. Okay, I don't really have a favorite drag queen yet. Katya is on a podcast. We always recommend podcasts on the show. So
yes.
Whimsically Volatile, which is a podcast Jimmy turned me on to that has Katya and some dude named Craig.
Katya and Craig.
They're
on all forms of social media at Katya and Craig.
Yes, and they're fantastic. There's also an Irish queen, the first queen of Ireland, Panty Bliss.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with.
Oh, yes.
One, I don't like, I've never been to one of her shows. I don't really go to drag shows much. Besides with that one time, Tony went to a cabaret in P-Town. But.
Oh, right. Yes. We were at drag karaoke.
Yes. But she gives a really great speech about, like, growing up in such a Catholic culture and being a drag queen and being queer and being everything. And you should really look it up. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got. I don't know. Like, you guys have to talk more about drag. I don't know anything about it. So enlighten me. Is there something I should know about drag that I probably don't?
There's a lot of things you should know about drag, and I'm going to co-opt this conversation for a few minutes if you don't mind. Because so one of the things that's going on, like the reason why, I was so adamant about making sure that we throw out names of local queens is because something that's happening is, drag has been this thing that has existed for a very long time, and it's been truly a part of gay culture and the gay community in ways that stem not just from entertainment and nightlife, but also directly into activism. And there are some people on the activist ends of things who are very much drag queens, but then also people who kind of walk the lines between just generally, cross-dressing, genderqueer, maybe even into trans, but also kind of have a foot in the world of performance and nightlife. And what I find happening with this growing obsession of the show RuPaul's Drag Race and how it's become this capital empire with, I don't know if you know this, Brendan, but there's a convention now called RuPaul's Drag Con that is actually now bi-coastal. It started in LA and now is both in LA and Manhattan. And I want to say it's biannual or semi-annual. It happens twice a year. And it's all well and good and it's all beautiful, but it's beginning to make drag seem like this kind of either inaccessible thing because we are celebritizing drag queens, or it's making it seem that the goal of being a drag queen should be to get on this show as if it is the only thing that there is for a drag queen to aspire to. And I think that's problematic.
Let's to your point, Jimmy, do you have a response?
No, I agree completely. I think there's so many other ways to be successful than just competing on this reality TV show.
And I mean, like like I said, I'm not anyone to comment on drag at all, but I mean, RuPaul's a drag icon, and he's an icon of America. Like,
Right.
When I refer to him as
Cover girl of the world, Brendan.
perfect,
Get it right.
perfect. I'm sorry.
Also, RuPaul has said that you can call her whatever pronouns you want.
That's true.
Well, okay, that's good for her. So, yeah, but do you guys like? I feel like it introduced a lot of people. There's a girl who grew up. Her grandparents live next to our Mary Claire. We grew up next to her. Like we saw her all the time when we were kids, and she's a Catholic school teacher now.
Is she?
Yes, she works at the SJV, and she loves drag. And she posts on Snapchat with like meeting every single drag queen that's been on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh my.
Okay, bitch.
So yeah, oh no, like it's like every weekend. It's like she's at another drag show, and I don't know if it's because I'm older.
It's expensive though.
Yeah,
it does. She's got that private school salary, so yeah, she's not teaching the other privilege.
No, she's not suffering like the public school teachers are.
No. So,
who are an underserved population, I have to say. Anyway.
Yes, we should really be starting a fundraiser to send public school teachers to drag shows. Where is that GoFundMe?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know, man.
But what were you saying? So you were going on.
But I like. How did she discover that? Like, I know she got it through RuPaul because she talks about RuPaul on Instagram and social media a lot. But like, I think that's a really interesting thing because it opened the world and opened the door for drag performance to be, if not, I'm not gonna say completely mainstream, but slightly at least more mainstream.
Yes.
And it took it away from just happening in like massive cities and happening in the village and happening in P-Town and happening in the barrooms, and it made it something where it's like this Catholic school teacher and her friends are gonna go out and see a drag show.
Right.
I think that's kind of cool. I think I equate everything to music and punk music. It's like everyone in the punk, a lot of people in punk scene, especially like the older punk scene, hates Green Day because they co-opted it and they made it soft and they made it not like the like activist thing it was, and it they charted the tops. But I'm like, there's a lot of kids I know who, when they were 9, American Idiot came out, and now they're at Descendant shows and they're at E-Town shows and they're at Hatebreed shows. Because you got to find your way into something,
Right.
Like you got to like that door has to be open somewhere.
Right.
So as much as I understand what you're saying, where it's like, oh, they're like corporate, almost making it like corporate in a way. Not that that's actually what they're doing.
Yeah.
I also see like, hey, if those local drag queens are probably also getting a little more foot traffic because people are going like, oh, I can go see a drag show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that is. And it takes it out of that, like, oh, this is what those people do.
Hopefully. I hope it's not.
Yeah, I hope it is. Yeah, like I said, I hope it's not the whole thing where it's, everyone just goes to shit.
Yeah.
We have no idea. Okay.
Yeah, well, because, just to sort of, I guess, also explain a little bit about, like, how drag is performed, maybe to people who don't go to shows. So the thing, like, if you go to a show that is a drag race alumni, the show is most likely in a theater, or at least like, an art box theater, like, even if it is small or, but it is this kind of like more formal setting where you're going to see this performance on a stage. And girl, let me tell you about, like, if you're going to your local gay club and you're going to see like the local queens, like who are like, the boy that is, maybe 16 years old working at the Cumbies down the street during the day and is trying to, step up her game at night and trying to make some tips and trying to, make a name for herself as a queen. Those kind of shows literally happen on dance floors at the same level of the people. And you're standing around in a circle, holding your beer, holding your whatever, and watching these girls like flip and buck and fucking, Vogue and like Death Drop, like just at your feet. It's a much more organic and intimate experience. And I think actually, Brendan, likening it to the punk scene is kind of appropriate because it's sort of like that. It's sort of DIY in a way. Like, I don't know if that's the appropriate word, but like it's this feeling of you don't have this huge separation of there is an auditorium and then a stage between you and the drag that is happening. It is literally 3 feet in front of you.
Yeah, I have a great respect for shows like that of any kind, but especially something that's like so visceral and so open and like so expressive. I mean, it's obviously there's crossovers between drag and punk. I mean, like the New York Dolls and everything. Although I'd probably argue that the New York Dolls were more doing it for shock value than like the fact that they're gender bending.
Right.
But I mean, there's some really fucking great gender bending punk bands out there right now. Actually, specifically out of Providence and a couple other scenes. And I'm not going to name drop because I'm going to pronounce the name wrong. So I'm going to feel like a fucking idiot. So maybe I'll put them up when we put up this. I'll leave it in the comments.
I love it. I'm curious, Jimmy. You were in Philadelphia for some time, yes?
I was, yes.
So when you were there, did you have a similar experience? Like, did you like to go out clubbing, and were you kind of exposed to that style of, just like down home drag, just kind of right on the dance floor?
Oh, absolutely. It was just like, there would be queens just in the middle of the crowd dancing while other queens were, walking around collecting tips. And it was all very, you would just turn around and there'd be another queen there that was also performing. It wasn't a very formal event. But then a few months ago, I saw Trixie Mattel, and just like you said, like everyone, you bought tickets in advance. There were seats. Only a certain number of people were allowed in, and she just performed on stage the whole time.
Right. And as far as performance goes, that is perfectly fine, but it's definitely changing the way that, drag is experienced, which I'm not saying is a good or bad thing. But the point that I bring this up is to the people who don't listen to us. If you want to get into viewing drag or even doing drag, I really, really recommend going to those, Friday night shows or even the Wednesday night shows, because the Wednesday night shows are real. Those girls are still there working, needing to get money, trying to get their name out there. And those are the girls who are like, they're just starting. They're the amateur baby queens, and they're working to a room of maybe 10 people, who decided to go out on a Wednesday night, who might not. And
but like they are serving their whole life.
Yeah.
They're like giving you everything they have.
Oh, yes.
For those 10 people that came out on a Wednesday.
And it's amazing. So that's kind of what I'm getting at is like experience Drag Race and watch the show because it's fun. And it's sort of the culmination of the history of what we're talking about.
And they have these, beautiful, extravagant things that you wouldn't normally see in a club. But the fact of the matter is that they're things you wouldn't see in a club. And that's kind of what drag is.
Right.
In a lot of cases.
Right.
I was, not that I know much about anything here, but like from the bit I've learned about gay culture and everything, I mean, a lot of it's so tied to that club scene, especially because so long, like the whole, being gay was basically illegal in most places.
Right.
That like you had to go to your safe space and your free space.
Being gay is still illegal in a lot of ways in a lot of places.
Right, yeah.
That's
There's still like 20 states in this country where you can be fired for being gay.
Right.
Yeah, that's
right.
fucking insane.
Keep it in mind.
No, you're completely right. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Just like,
yeah, but like that whole free space, thing where it's like people are like, oh, well, why is like disco? Disco was a gay thing that was co-opted.
Yeah.
Like that, like these big trends came out of gay clubs because that was, the one place you could probably express yourself. And I always find that amazing. Then people like, people see a negative side that they're like, oh, this is like the stereotypes come out. Like, this is all I do. It's like, no, that's all the only place they could be them, And it's insane.
More specific, I think it's important to bring up disco because so many things were happening when disco was big, like all these, political changes in the 70s. But I also think more specifically, the disco scene and the ballroom scene was a lot of where gay Black culture was coming from, and that how that kind of got co-opted into this. I don't know, like it got appropriated, is what we would say today, and how that was kind of draining or taking away a part of that safe space for even a more specific subculture of this already subculture,
Yeah, and I mean, then you could look at the direct, like, disco sucks, burn the disco record, whole
Mhm.
fucking conundrum, which was nothing but fucking, like, white hate and fucking, bigotry all wrapped up. And they were going, oh, we just don't like the music.
Right.
Those bands bump, okay? Get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
man.
love this. I love. Ooh, girl, this is Mama's little queer history lesson. I
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, and I really love it because I'm a straight white dude explaining it to you guys.
And I have to say, the sibling dynamic is something I've only heard things about. To be privy to an actual experience of it is truly an experience.
I will say my family has a bit of a reputation.
We have
Yeah.
Me and Brendan have a truly unique experience where we're just like viciously mean to each other, but we never mean a word we say. We just like to be
Good.
cunts.
Oh yeah, no, me and Jimmy are super cunts together. Bring it in. Okay,
So
don't high five me, whatever.
I have another question.
You are an adult.
So
Yes, Tony. Go ahead.
I have another question for you, Jimmy. But and maybe this isn't. There's no point to this question. But so I grew up south of Boston, and you, I guess, in geographic terms, have grown up south of New York City, even if it's more of a distance. But you're still kind of.
We live closer to New York than you do to Boston, but whatever.
Huh?
We live closer to New York than you did to Boston.
Do you really? You're that close?
How close are you?
I'm 20 minutes away from Boston.
Half hour for us, maybe not. But it's New York City, so it's better anyway.
And we're gonna get into that later.
Facts are facts. I don't know what to tell you.
my point was also to clarify, when I mean 20, I meant growing up I was 20 minutes away. In Worcester, I'm an hour away from Boston.
Yes.
So I don't know if maybe that was confusing. But in the part of New Jersey that you're in, did you feel that gay culture was accessible, even with this major city and a specifically major gay city being so close to you?
I mean, I know I was a cunt about it.
You're still a cunt, but
yeah.
I wouldn't say it was inaccessible because everything was kind of accessible via the internet, but there weren't a lot of resources like through the community,
right,
to look into.
Do you feel like do you feel like now, like say a kid's 12 years old now, and is gay, that he has a better time than you did growing up?
The both of us?
Yeah, sure, both of you.
I don't know. It's so different. Like, I know that sounds silly because, like,
it's not that long ago, but it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Jimmy, you can start with this one. I need to think about it.
Well,
do you guys want me to talk for a minute so you guys can get your thoughts together?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, specifically for us, we live pretty close to Rutgers University, and there's a famous case of a student there who was gay, and his roommates found out and recorded him and like published it on the internet. He eventually led to him killing himself, sadly. And like I see that as kind of a turning point, at least in my understanding. Maybe it was just a turning point for me, not everyone else, but at the way a lot of people saw this and how you could handle it, But like I said, I'm not as far as asking you guys. You'd have probably better opinions on me.
I don't think that particular case had people viewing anything about homosexuality differently, only about harassment and what you can what you can press charges on someone for, and whether or not his roommate should have been in prison. I think that was really what the turning point of the whole thing was. I don't think it did much for like
gay rights. Like I don't think I would argue that it did. But
no, not for like gay rights, but even
for how people are treated.
Acceptance of like gay culture in our community.
I see.
I feel like that wasn't really addressed at all in the situation.
No.
That kind of sucks, huh?
Yeah. Fuck
like
that.
It was, but it wasn't.
It became more of a privacy case, and it did become like, hey, this guy like outed his roommate.
Yeah.
For no fucking reason because he's bigoted.
Right. So, I'm sorry it doesn't have much to do with this particular case that we're talking about, but
Oh, yeah, no worries.
as for the question of, differences between a young person or a younger person, a 12-year-old, like you said, coming out as gay and kind of learning about what that all means versus because ironically, I was 12 when I came out. So
Can I just pause you right there? You told me you came out rolling out of your mother.
that is, did I?
You used that phrase.
I hope I did not, because that's very disgusting.
You the one who said it. That was a direct quote.
Wow. Do you have proof of this?
Probably. We're not fact checking now, Tony. If we start
Okay.
fact checking now, this podcast is fucked.
Well, fact checking
Talk
just
about
went
it
by the
later.
wayside a few years ago, so to hell with all of it. So when I came out, it was, I don't know, it was a weird experience, but that's not really, that part doesn't matter. But later, when I was about 16, I was dating this boy. He was kind of, at the time, I considered him my first real boyfriend. And in Boston, we had this thing called Bagley, which is the Boston Alliance of Gay and Lesbian Youth. And it was this, this youth group that you could join and go to meetings, and they would have events. And they were the people, every year they put on a queer prom. So for kids who at the time didn't feel comfortable, or could not go to prom with their significant others who are of the same sex, this place was a place for them. And this boyfriend that I had, he was like I jokingly called it the board of elders. And so he was part of the people who like made decisions about stuff. I just remember it being such a fun thing because, one, I got to go into the city, which always made me happy. But it was this, very eclectic group of people who are just all different types of gay and all different types of queer. And we met in this church that was a Jewish and Christian church at the same time. And I never knew how it worked. And we would have these meetings there. And that was
on Sunday.
That's true, though. That is probably how they did it. But having that, I can't say that it was like this massively huge influencing thing, but like definitely knowing that I have this specific group of people and this specific organization to support me helped. But I feel like that's kind of a privilege very specific to living in the greater Boston area, So what I mean is, like, even though I did grow up with the internet and all this stuff, like we all did, I still could find real life people in real life groups. And now I just feel like everything is so internet bound that that experience is going to be different.
I understand that. Now I have another question. When I was in high school, there was someone that they wrote in the school newspaper. There was two competing op-eds, one for gay marriage, one opposed to it. And, that led to a big thing, obviously, because that person was a fucking barbarian and they think people should have the same rights as them.
Right.
So that ended up to us, like, that was like my freshman year. And that's like, what the hell is it? The LGBT Alliance came about and all these other clubs. Did you guys join those in high school? Did you find them helpful?
I'm not even entirely sure we had one in high school.
Really?
I feel like we might have, but it wasn't like a big thing.
Okay, so like I went to a small county school. My brother Jimmy here went to like our local district high school, so it was much bigger than mine. There was always this, I guess it's a stereotype of like the people in like the LGBT Alliance.
Oh, absolutely.
As being not gay.
Yeah.
As being like people either A, like pissing off their conservative parents, or B, trying too hard to be friends with gay people because they were gay. And I like that. I wouldn't say that's exactly everyone in my high school. There were tons of straight up people, but there were a couple people who, based on my novice opinion, were kind of doing that.
Yeah.
Is that a stereotype that carries over for you? I'm not saying it's true either way, but I'm saying, is that something you guys heard? Did that ever, make you shy away from such an organization?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for my school, at least, there was an added on stereotype that I found was actually, unfortunately, very true. both my middle school and my high school, I don't know why, they both had anime manga clubs.
Okay.
Where it was just, a school club where you would, I guess, talk about anime and manga. And for whatever reason, almost 90% of the people in anime club were also in the SGA. And I just remember that being like, I don't really like this and I don't really care for it. And the meetings would always divulge into this kind of tomfoolery that was almost as if it was like the after hour party for anime club, just kind of in GSA. And I remember when I tried to join, I went to a couple meetings, and my friend at the time, who was an upperclassman while I was a freshman, was trying to like rein in these fucking wild animal children and be like, so we're marching in the, Boston Pride Parade and the Youth Pride Parade, and we need to make banners. And they were just like not able to fucking control themselves and just didn't want to talk about gay activism and only wanted to talk about this kind of extension of their anime club. And so that actually that made me leave. I was really annoyed by it.
Now, I really have one really pressing thing I need to say on this whole subject.
Yes.
Fuck anime. It's shitty. Anime is so fucked.
I don't like anime. I'm not into it. It's not my gig. Never has been. Never will be.
Wait, Tony, can I get your opinion on anime?
When I was younger, I loved it. And then, I'm not kidding, I woke up one day when I was around like 11 or 12, and I was like, fuck this stuff. The only thing I held on to were the Hayao Miyazaki movies, but I don't really consider them anime because
that's a different level.
Yeah, like that's a different level to me. But like all the Naruto, the Dragon Ball Z, the Pokemon, I think is cute just for nostalgic reasons. But like I can't fucking stand most of it.
Yeah.
Everyone tries to get me to watch this show called One Punch Man, which is about a man who can defeat anything in one punch.
Yeah, I know.
And they're like, oh, it's so clever and funny. And I watched 3 episodes and went like, this is the dumbest show I've ever fucking watched.
Yeah.
Like, their big answer to the fact that he can defeat anything with one punch was to have him fight a swarm of bees. And that was the 2nd episode. I don't know where it goes from there, but probably fucking nowhere. And he's like really sad because he never has a challenge. What?
Oh, poor him.
Oh my God. Yeah, you poor bastard. Anyway,
that just sounds like a metaphor for white privilege. But anyway,
yeah, it probably is. I don't know. I'm not digging that deep into anime. Anime's too stupid for that.
I agree. I don't hate on people who like anime, but it just really annoys me.
Different, Tony. This is really different. If you like anime, you can die. I don't care for you. I will ask you guys both a question.
I'm sorry, Brent. I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want. So, Jimmy, you said that at your school, like a GSA or LGBTQ alliance didn't really exist, but did it exist? Did it not exist because people wanted it to, but it just never happened? Or were just people not interested in or felt they didn't need an activist group in school?
I feel like it was just a lack of interest. I don't, like, thinking back, I don't remember that many people who were out in my high school.
Right.
Like, I remember a few people, quote, the gay kids.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But I feel like when I was maybe like a freshman or sophomore, I heard about it a couple times, but then never heard about it again.
Right.
Later on.
Interesting. I should. I don't know how to respond to that. I wanted to get back to the anime thing because I was going to ask you both how you felt about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
You're really into this.
But we can still talk about the gay stuff if you want, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you wanted this whole episode to be about like gay stuff and gay culture. I'm sorry.
I got bored. I'm sorry. We're gonna
you
talk
got
about
bored. Oh, okay.
I
see you.
you know how it is. I have no attention.
You spend an entire life with your heteronormative shit and spend 1 hour learning about gay culture. I see.
Can I tell you that me and Tony are homo-romantic and he didn't?
No, we're not.
Me and Tony are homo-romantic.
No, we aren't.
Do not think that's true.
We walked through New York City arm in arm, and every time we walked in, Tony pretended to be my boyfriend without telling me.
That's not true.
So he thought it would make me uncomfortable. But you know how it is, Jimmy. You got to commit to the bit. I just embraced it and made Tony uncomfortable.
I'm very glad you did that.
Yes. Yes, I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah, I just learned a lot about you too.
I'm waiting for the episode where Brendan comes out as heterosexual but fully homoromantic.
I'm not there yet.
No, good, but it's in the works. All right, moving on.
There'll be
We're
like
talking
a
about home
full-blown
romantic.
Ellen DeGeneres coming out episode.
Can I talk about
Oh.
how when I was in class and found out that you could be homoromantic and heteroromantic and everything in between? Is everything in between derogatory, like saying it like that?
I don't think so, because it is a broad spectrum.
It's a spectrum, yeah.
It's definitely spectrum. Everything's fluid. But I like to find out that it was one of those like fucking like, you know, Jimmy Neutron, the brain blast. I went,
Yes.
holy shit. Like, one, super obvious that could happen.
Right.
Two, never consider it ever happening. Like, never
Yeah.
thought that could be a thing. Then you find out about it, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Obviously.
No, I remember a similar feeling
That's
of
what I
like,
am.
what do you mean? That's
I'm
amazing.
bi-romantic.
Sexuality and romanticism can be separate. Like,
Don't touch me.
what
So
are
we
you
just-
two doing? I can't see either.
We just had really long eye contact. I brushed his knee and he said, don't
Brush
touch
my
me.
knee.
I tell him the same thing all the time.
Like, don't touch me.
Yeah, don't fucking touch me.
I'm sorry.
Stop. Don't touch me
either.
anywhere. Please. Thank you.
Okay. So anyway, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, it's my favorite show in the whole world.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Have you seen Book of Korra, Jimmy?
No.
You might have to watch it.
It is one of the first cartoons to have a gay couple, basically.
Who were the gay couple in that show?
Dude, Cora and that bitch.
I've never actually watched that show. It was just always on in your
Okay.
apartment.
Hold the fuck up. Look at me and say, well, you're going to have to watch that with your smug ass face when you have not actually seen it yourself.
Jimmy, if you love
Oh
The
my
Last
God.
Airbender, you're gonna have to watch Korra. Tony will tell you about how amazing it is.
It's great.
Always on, because Tony and friend of the show Max and friend of the show Mike and friend of the show Noni all would watch it, and I'd be there like. But mostly, I was focused on getting drunk. So,
Honestly, I don't think Noni was watching it as actively as me, Mike, and Max were.
definitely not. Noni never did anything as actively as you guys did.
Can
You
I-
guys decided moods, and me and Noni stood on the peripherals like that's what they're doing.
Yeah, sure. Can I interject for just 2 seconds so we can get back to this? If you go back and listen to any of our episodes from season 1, we are constantly talking about Winona and saying it's almost a running joke at this point that we need to get Winona on the show at some
We
point.
do need to get Winona on the show. She's never going to be on it, but
She
maybe,
never
guys,
will be.
Maybe in November, I'm going to Boston to go see a show with her, and I'm going to stop and visit Tony. Maybe we can do the episode then.
Yeah, because we will, when you come to
Maybe we'll see.
Boston, have a very special super episode that we record.
It's going to be amazing.
Hell yeah. Anyway, back to Korra. Yes, it's a good show. Last Airbender is still my favorite though.
It's the OG.
It's the OG.
What do you guys like about that show?
Oh, I have a lot of reasons
Well,
about
Hold
it.
on, hold on. Let me preface this by saying I very specifically remember Jimmy loving the show growing up,
I loved it. Fully loved it.
and me, my sister Casey, and my twin brother Brian being like, "No, no, we're not. No."
Okay, see, that's what you guys did to everything I liked.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
like, I didn't care. I was like, whatever. I'm gonna keep watching my fucking show.
Which is exactly what you should have done. I felt like we all did that to each other. I felt like our whole growing up thing was everyone ganging up on everyone else,
family
More or
dynamic.
less, yeah.
more or less. It's basically family bonding.
Yeah.
If you cannot take a joke, you're really not going to like this family.
Oh,
You're
great.
super mean here.
Good.
You say, as if you are.
I meant the jokes. The jokes are super
I
mean.
was like, I meant the
Oh,
people. I was like, you
am
are
super mean.
equally mean.
We're all very mean. Tony, sorry to interrupt this. Hold on. We can get back to our subject. I have a very special. I'm renewing a segment from last season that I very much like.
No, I know what this is, and I hate you.
Tony, tell us your joke of the week. Tony talked about how he wasn't funny, Jimmy. So I said, fine, you have to come up with one joke every week. Tony, what's your joke?
I'm not a jokester. I don't do that.
You got this. Tony told me I need a chuckle fuck.
A chuckle fucker.
I need a chuckle fucker. Tony has this vision of me as an up-and-coming stand-up comedian that is not accurate.
See, okay, I only said this, though, because I genuinely thought you wanted to be a comic.
No, I just look like this.
You're just depressed. You're not trying to find an outlet for it.
No. I mean, I have one.
Healthy behavior.
I soak and I drink. That's it. What else does a guy need, man? What? Love and kindness? Psst, please.
Right.
Who's ever conquered the world on love and kindness?
Of course. No, I really don't have I don't have it. Well, okay. This is directly from Bette Midler.
God bless.
Love it.
God bless. So I'll never forget it, you know. I was hanging out with my girlfriend Clementine, and she says to me, "Soph, I have to ask you something. How is it that you always hang up your laundry and you never get caught in the rain?" And so I says to Clementine, I says, "Clementine, I'll tell you how I do it. When I wake up in the morning and I roll over and look at my boyfriend Ernie, I look down between his legs at his appendage. And if it's hanging to the left, I know that it's going to rain that day. And if it's hanging to the right, I know the skies will be clear." And so I stood there for a second, and Clementine looked at me and said, "But Soph, what happens when it's standing straight up and down?" And I says to her, "Honey, who wants to do laundry on a day like that?"
Dead. Fantastic. We just laughed very quietly, but that is a great joke. Shout out to, as Jimmy said, the original Miss M.
The Divine Miss M.
The
Brendan.
Divine
It's
Miss
her
M.
album.
I'm eventually gonna
You
learn.
Uncultured swine. I'm gonna make you a very long Spotify playlist.
Oh, fantastic, guys.
Is she on Spotify?
Am I on
I
Spotify?
hope so. I'm gonna look.
Oh, Beth Midler? I'm sure she is. Everything's on Spotify.
Yeah.
Except the bands I listen to.
Oh, you're so hipster.
I know.
My bands are so cool.
No, they're just don't make enough money.
That's
Actually,
it. My
every
bands
band-
aren't cool enough.
Basically the problem. Basically every band can be on Spotify right now. It's like finding the live tracks. I can't, but whatever.
Yeah, I kind of find that, like, if you're not on Spotify, you either are too corporate for me to want to listen to, or you're so new or underground that I just can't access you.
I get that. I mean,
You
there's a lot
know?
of bands. There's a lot of bands who like have like earlier stuff, or only have some of their albums on Spotify, and that really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not as much as when they do put them on Spotify and everyone acts like they're a new release, and there's like, did you hear this new song? I'm like, shut up.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that. I'm like the worst, but I really do hate when people like bands I like. Like, just leave them alone. They're not for you.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Jimmy have this person in our life who is going to remain completely nameless in the descriptive list. Jimmy looked at me and knows exactly what I'm going to say. But every time this person gets into a band that I like, it's like 6 years later, and it's the absolute worst.
It has absolutely happened with bands that I used to like too. And they always start to like them long after I think they should be dead.
Yeah. Or the band's still good, but then like they get one song that's like played on the radio somewhere, and they're like, "Oh my god, have you heard of them? They're amazing." And you're like, I mean, yeah, I saw them 6 times and I met them and I got like this autograph and I went to their album releases, and it's like, "Oh, you think they're great? Awesome. Well, now I have to shred all my t-shirts. Fuck."
This is your other brother, isn't it?
No, Brian's dope. Brian likes cool bands.
Oh, good. Good.
He didn't for a while. He was one of those guys who was like, no good music was made after 92.
Oh.
But I think everyone goes to that phase where they're like, old music's amazing. And old music is amazing, but you also have to respect the new shit.
I
Like,
still listen to a lot of old music. I think Carole King is probably my favorite artist
Yeah.
of all time. Tapestry speaks to my soul like no other album I've ever listened to in my life.
It's so
But
good.
you still have to listen to current music as well.
yeah, this like, if you do that, if you cut that out, there's tons of music. There's a great, I guess there was like a tweet or something. Someone shared it and someone said, no, I hate when guys say they like classic rock. I get it. You had a good relationship with your dad. And I think I forget who shared that, but I'm like, that's like I didn't have a way to put that into words, but that's exactly what it is. We used to call it like people who only listen to like Toto's Africa and like Roxanne and like two Billy Joel songs. And we're like, oh, that's the soundtrack of Nothing Went Wrong. My dad can't get me out of.
Yeah.
You know, like it was always that's always how we felt about it, at least.
Right.
My little circle. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go on.
For me, it was kind of a little different because my mother was. I got my music taste from my mom, and
so did I.
You know, like Brendan, you know, Fleetwood Mac is one of my most.
I was actually about to ask if Fleetwood Mac is still up in the trend or down in the trend in gay culture.
Listen, Fleetwood Mac is always on the up.
Yes.
Because even if they release shit, they have a long history of nothing but
just the Rumors album.
Yes. Yeah. I think they just are gay culture.
Honestly.
That and those 3 songs from Florence and the Machine.
Oh no, there's way more than just 3 now.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Have you listened to her most recent? Brenda, do you even know? Like, okay, can you name me 2 of her albums?
I can name songs.
Okay, because
Dark Days Are Over, Kiss with a Fist. Florence Welch, and is that her name? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Her dancing in the video for Kiss with a Fist changed my life.
That's good. I'm glad
because
she is a gay icon. Like she
really is.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
My old roommate, Grace, hates, still currently does, hates Florence Welch because she yodels.
Oh, I live for it.
I was like, I love her. She's my fucking favorite.
No, truthfully. I said this actually, I think in an old episode of ours, that the summer that Dog Days came out was like this time in, like, I don't know, like the gayness, the gay world, where like everyone was just running around having a good time wearing cut off skinny jeans and bandanas and just like playing this song at like peak volume, you know?
So true.
It was a time to be alive.
I'm thinking of like similar songs in my life, but they don't exist. No one was ever listening to the same thing. It was like a lot of people, everyone listening to the same Drake song over and over again. And I'm not one of those people who's like, oh fuck Drake or whatever. Like he's fine. He's absolutely fine. It's just not like am I saying I don't like any of his songs? No, but I'm just like not super into that.
Right.
We were talking about this. I think me and Jimmy had this conversation. I think me and you. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, or maybe we talked about it in the last episode. But can I say I'm so over every white person acting like Eminem's the only rapper alive?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, and then you say that, and they're like, no, well, like, what about Asher Roth with, one song, or Lil Dicky, who no one takes serious for a good fucking reason, but they're gonna act like, oh, Eminem's the best rapper alive. It's like, oh, well, what do you think of the new Kendrick album? No, you're not listening to Jaron Benton. No, oh shit, you're not listening to like even like the Black album by Jay-Z. Like you have no reference. But you're right, Eminem's the best rapper alive because it's not about race.
Right.
Like you don't listen to anything else. I'm not saying Eminem's bad, but I'm definitely saying like I'm over the fact that when every chick I follow on Instagram gets sad, she blasts Rap God.
Yeah.
Like get over yourselves. I just need to get it off my chest.
I'm glad. That's good. Can I ask you a question about rap music?
As the resident expert, sure.
Absolutely.
Can I
So-
interject with a quick question first?
Yes.
Brendan, it is 2018 and you still say chick.
Ah!
Yes.
That's fair. That's fair. Am I not supposed to? Is that sexist? Or is it just uncool?
I just think it's a little uncool.
If it's uncool, I'm rocking with it. If anyone's like, yo, it's sexist and makes girls uncomfortable, I'm dropping it.
I mean, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that. That's not my place to say.
Yeah.
I would absolutely say it's lame though.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being lame. I accept being lame. It's who I am.
Maybe one of the people who don't listen to us can like tell us if it's sexist or
And
not.
we're gonna talk to Jen. I'm seeing her this weekend. We're going to see Tiger Jaw. Not this weekend, Tuesday.
Oh, good.
We're going to see Tiger Jaw in Brooklyn if anyone wants to say hi. No one listens to us.
No one listens to us.
Oh, we didn't enlighten Jimmy on this. Our non-existent fan base, and if we ever do get a fan base, is going to be called the people who do not listen to us.
Uh-huh.
So it's a running joke because right now we're going to say that. But when we become big and famous podcasters...
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I do have to say some of my classmates I told about the podcast, and I'm going to be sending them the link. And I have to preface them always like it can get vulgar sometimes, just so you know.
It's really funny. You consider a podcast vulgar. I really don't.
Oh, you need to go back and listen to the episodes. No, Brendan, you need to go back and listen to the episodes where we're talking about scat fetishes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
there was a time where I said I didn't masturbate, and Tony's like, "Of course you do." And I said, "Well, yeah. How do you think I get my hair to stand up?" So yeah, maybe it is vulgar. Shit,
Yeah,
I never thought about it before.
This is the most.
Names on attached to this.
This is the most tame episode we've ever had. Like we have a topic. We've had like very insightful discussion. Like.
I'm sorry. This should be a little.
Well, I did ask Brendan 6 times what we were going to talk about on this podcast, and he said, "I don't know.
Great.
I don't know. Maybe I'll surprise Tony and make it about drag." Then he went right back to "I don't know." So,
yeah,
this is how we got here.
Yes, yeah, Tony. I'm sorry. What's our runtime right now?
Yeah, I was actually just saying that we have about 10 more minutes, I believe.
Perfect. That's exactly the amount of time I want. Tony, I have a new game.
Okay, but I needed to ask you a question about rap.
Ask me a question about rap so I can set this game up. Okay, go.
Chance the Rapper is my favorite hip-hop artist. Is that okay?
Yeah, why would you like him? He does amazing things in Chicago.
Because I never, I love him so much, and I love him for who he is, and as an activist, and as a musician, and as everything, and he's hot. But like I always want, like I feel like when he first came out, people were really apprehensive or really were kind of like, oh, you think you like hip hop because you like Chance the Rapper, like psh, that's stupid, or you know what I mean?
You know what? People are always gonna suck. I'm one of those people that sucks about that kind of shit.
Yeah,
but don't listen to haters, man. That's basically all it comes down to. Like whatever music you like. Trust me, Jimmy's friends tear me apart for the kind of music I listen to, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever, because it's still what I like listening to.
Excellent. All right, so what do you have?
They want, but they listen to music we listened to when we were 14, show tunes, Carole King, and that's about it. Granted, we all went to school for theater.
Right, that's all right, permissible.
And I do the only thing I tell people about music, it's like what you like, but don't not listen to shit because it's genre X or by person B or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, dude, everyone's like, oh, I hate everything. I like everything but country. It's like, there's country songs you probably like. And there are country songs not written by racists and assholes, I imagine. I don't know. But, like, that's the thing. Like, if you, like, have eclectic taste, man.
Yeah.
Check out that. When you're in the record shop and that old blues albums for, like, $3, pick it up because it might be really good.
Buy the entire anthology of Muddy Waters.
Muddy Waters is fantastic. I'm on a John Lee Hooker kick right now.
Yes.
And also, do you know Robert Johnson?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, if you don't listen to him, like, one of those really sad died when he was, like, 26 stories, but he's, like, one of the original, like, recorded bluesmen.
Right.
Like, everyone lists him as an influence. Eric Clapton still plays his songs, so.
Can I ask a dumb question?
No, it is you.
Was Jim... Shut up. Was Jimi Hendrix from the UK?
No.
No, he was from America, right?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Because a couple weeks ago, someone was trying to tell me that he was British, and I was like, no, girl, I don't think so.
Because they're idiots. He was in the United States Army.
Yeah, right?
He grew up poor. He played a left-handed guitar because he could not afford to get a right-handed guitar.
Fuck yeah.
Or did he play right-handed because he couldn't afford to get left-handed? I think he played a right-handed because he couldn't. He run the swing backwards.
All right. What was this game what was this thing?
So this game came out of a thing me and Jimmy were doing the other night where we were going to get some Taco Bell. And I used to work near a Taco Bell, and I'm very passionate about Taco Bell on some level. And we were talking about like how some things on the Taco Bell menu are just totally worth the money, and then some things are not.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start by asking Tony, I don't know how much fast food you eat anymore, but what was your go-to Taco Bell order?
Oh, Crunchwrap Supreme with a taco on the side.
Always, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Uniformly agree. The Crunchwrap Supreme is worth whatever. Let's talk about do you like cheesy gordita crunches?
Oh yeah.
But how much is the cheesy gordita crunch?
I don't know.
It's like $3.09. Is that worth it when you consider you can get a Crunchwrap?
But isn't a Crunchwrap like $6?
No.
Oh.
Maybe a Crunchwrap meal with the drink and the taco, but just a Crunchwrap's like $3.50 or something like that.
Yeah.
$4.
Oh. See, my answer to this qualm is to just get both.
Right?
I understand that, Tony, but let's pretend you were a baller on a budget.
Okay, then here's what you do. You get the Gordita Crunch meal, and then you get the Crunchwrap separately.
Is that what you do?
I think so.
You could. Now, what makes a cheesy gordita crunch so great is two things. One, it has a soft outer shell that's really pleasant.
Yes, it is.
But it's one of the only menu items where you can get the spicy ranch.
Ooh, yeah.
That's the flavor kick that you get on a cheesy gordita crunch that makes it better than just a taco with a quesadilla around it.
Yes.
So if you just get the Crunchwrap with the spicy ranch, it's for like an extra 15 cents or something. You basically have a giant cheesy gordita crunch.
That actually sounds amazing.
Okay, this is not Taco Bell, but related to the cheesy gordita crunch. Have you ever gotten at Chipotle a quesarito?
Never.
A burrito rolled in a quesadilla?
I feel like that's a secret menu item.
It is.
I never go to Chipotle when it's not busy.
And I have only ever had one because my friend used to work at Chipotle. So I tried all the crazy shit there.
Okay, what's your favorite crazy thing that's not a quesarito from Chipotle?
The quesarito.
That's it?
Like, that's really where it starts and ends, Brenton. The quesadilla and the quesarito are like the only things you need to know about on the secret menu.
Okay. I feel that. I feel that.
But also, if you're ever going to get the chicken, get half chicken, half sofritas. It'll change your life.
That sounds delicious.
Sofritas is the tofu.
Why would I do that?
Because it's so fucking good, Brenton. You'd like it, I promise. Would I steer you wrong about food?
No, you wouldn't. I
Thank
trust
you.
I will say Tony will steer me wrong about food, though.
Oh, absolutely.
He does all the time. Okay, I have two stories to prove this. One time for Easter, me and Tony were both stuck on campus. So we went to get Thai food, and I don't surprise this by saying two things. I have never had Thai food, and I do not
Thai food.
care that much for peanuts.
Thai food is also gay culture, just throwing that out there.
True.
Have you ever had a Thai iced tea?
Probably. I drink a lot of iced tea.
Yeah, but a Thai
No,
iced
you would
tea
know
is
if you've
something
had a Thai
different.
iced tea.
I don't know. What is it?
Tony, can you explain what Thai iced tea is?
So a Thai iced tea is a thing just of itself. It like the tea is like soaked in a fucking stuff. I don't know. And so you brew this really strong tea and then you serve it over ice poured with this sweet cream on it. And so it's milk. It's milk in this tea and it's really sweet and just has a flavor that is literally undescribable.
It's like some kind of tea cake drinking it. It's weird.
No, I have not.
It comes with an
It's-
umbrella. Where we were, it
Listen,
came with
I'll
like
fuck up
candles.
any drink that comes with an umbrella. I
No
don't
doubt.
care what it is.
No doubt. I just want to say that we went there and I got like this salad. It had peanut sauce on it and everything had peanut sauce on it. I'm not crazy about peanuts. It was good. It was okay. But I want to say, and then I got this big, like amazing, like multicolored glass, huge with umbrellas and sparklers coming out of iced tea. And I think that was the first date me and Tony went on, and I don't think I would have called him back.
Well, fine. So you did. What's the other? You said you had two stories to prove this.
The cabbage incident.
What cabbage incident?
Remember that time you made me soup?
I was
Would you like this for this one
trying.
too?
I was
You were.
trying.
Poorly. That doesn't count.
I
So this
made.
sounds like Tanya was being a good friend and you're just a cunt.
Yeah, thank
No,
you.
you know what the problem was? I ate all of it. I was also being a good friend. I put soy sauce on it. Tony makes me this soup thing. And he puts about, I don't know, 12 pounds of cabbage in it and very little else. And he's like, I'm just making like a vegetable broth and I'm going to put some seaweed in it and some other shit.
Some seaweed.
It was udon. Okay, udon. It was udon soup. It was udon
Okay.
noodle soup.
That changes the game entirely.
Thank you.
You need a lot of cabbage and udon.
Thank you.
What if it's just cabbage?
Huh?
Also, udon noodles.
Yeah, but they don't have flavor. Anyway,
Listen, I thought you're Irish. Your people ate cabbage at some point, probably because you ran out of potatoes. I don't know. Like,
we ate grass when we ran out of potatoes, you insensitive asshole.
No, we actually
Fucking
just
Italians.
literally starved to death.
No, they ate grass and died.
oh Jesus Christ, is Jimmy in on this too?
Jimmy's always in on it.
Oh,
We're a unit.
two
Um,
against one.
Ancestry.com says I'm 100% Irish, so you bet your ass I'm in on it.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna high five you, Brenton.
I
I
know.
saw you going for it.
I never high five him either.
I
You're a
shut it
fucking
down.
adult.
Like one part that I went, no, he's not gonna
He
do
shut
it.
himself down. He just knew.
Yeah. So anyway, Tony makes me this soup, and it's just cabbage basically, and then udon noodles put in later. So I'm like, I taste it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, hey, do you have any soy sauce? He goes, yeah, I put some soy sauce and I eat it. And he's like, what? My cooking's not good enough for you? What? You can't eat it? What? I'm not a great cook? Sits there and he goes and he tastes it. And he goes, that's fucking disgusting. And I stared at him and went, yeah. And then I handed him the soy sauce and went, eat up.
I'm sorry. I did you wrong.
I think it was just that apartment.
Yeah, I miss that. But I don't want to get into that.
Yes.
Hold on,
Anyway.
but you told me that you had a game.
I did, but
What
I got
part
shut down when we started talking about quesadillas.
Oh,
So
it was-
hold on, but I want to
the
play.
game
I want to
was,
have.
Is it worth it to get this from Taco Bell or not?
Yes.
What are we getting from Taco Bell?
Well, one, we all have to agree that the Crunch Wrap is the best value for your buck.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Cheesy roll up.
No.
I don't know what that is.
You get
I
like
saw it on the menu the other day. We went. It's literally just cheese rolled in tortilla.
That's
and
stupid.
then
No.
cooked.
Like
It's only $1.
pointless.
No.
Okay, and a loaded griller is like $1.25.
Oh, loaded
Loaded-
grillers are my shit.
They're $2, and I'm gonna say they're worth it.
They
Oh.
are.
Absolutely.
What about getting anything off the Katina menu or whatever it's called?
I think I would order off of that normally because I loved getting the double XL grilled stuffed burritos.
True.
I don't
Um,
really know what the cantina. To be honest, guys, I don't eat fast food anymore.
I don't know what the canteen.
Tony
is
used to
either.
live off fast food.
Well, I did, and then my
I
doctors
feel-
told me my liver was failing, so I stopped.
That's fair. I feel like I eat more fast food now than I ever have before.
Me too. I feel like I used to be good about it. Now it's like, get out of work late, and I was like, McDonald's.
Yeah.
We should do better. Should really do
Yeah.
better. What about the Power Meal Bowl veggie?
The
It
what?
has the Power Menu Bowl veggie.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
It has a big thing of rice, and it has beans and some kind of lettuce, some like salsa.
Listen, if I want like some big variety bullshit like that, I'm going to Chili's. I'm not going to Taco
Or
Bell.
Chipotle. How about that?
Like what?
Has black beans, guacamole, reduced fat sour cream, pico de gallo, cheese, avocado ranch, seasoned rice, and romaine lettuce for a whopping $5.19.
Brendan, did you read that off of a menu, or is this something you have memorized by heart?
You memorized it by heart.
Come on,
I
it's
hope.
me.
I hope.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say that's not worth it just for the fact that it's Taco Bell.
And also the fact that like I don't think their guac would taste good at all.
No, and also, okay, so we have this another thing we have to say. Our brother Brian, who's a higher being than most people, he's a very smart man, but
A higher being.
but he likes sour cream on tacos, but will not get it at Taco Bell anymore. It comes out of what's essentially a caulk gun. And he's like, I can't get past it. Like I know it's sour cream. I know it's not silicone, but I can't do it.
That's funny.
It's too much like Phoenixdale.
And it cracks me up.
Oh, I die every time. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna sour cream. It's just too weird. That's
Is
true.
Brian the twin, or Jimmy? Are you two twins?
Brian
is the twin.
Brian's the twin. Okay.
If me and Jimmy were twins, we would have said Brian is the twin in more unison.
That's true. That
That
would
would
have
have
been
been
creepy.
voice.
Well, guys, I hate to cut a good time short.
I have one more thing. While we're on
Okay.
the subject of cheap Mexican food. Do you find old people pronounce it Chipotle?
Yes.
What the fuck is that about?
I don't know. I don't know.
Say to him, I'll hunt you Chipotle. Chipotle? It's on every front of those fucking cooking
Well,
shows I
our mom used
watch.
to call it chipotle.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
Chipotle. You guys want to get Chipotle? What is
No.
that?
Chipotle.
Chipotle. Now Chipotle. It's like watching a Pokemon evolve. Like eventually, all old people will be able to say Chipotle, and that's the sign of the
Can you
apocalypse.
say it?
Chipotle.
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 He said Chipotle.
Oh God! I'm dying. I'm
It's
old
happening.
now. I'm
All
old.
right.
No.
Well, on that note, I really have to thank you, Jimmy, for being here for this tomfuckery.
Thank you for having me for this buffoonery.
Absolutely.
I think Jimmy may be a repeat guest. I think he was a pleasure.
Hey, in my book, he's always welcome. So,
Welcome.
and as for the people who don't listen to us, thank you for not tuning in, as you always do. And always remember,
Don't panic.
bye.